wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
SportsTownChicago.com. Lombard, part of the Beyond Air Network and available on the TuneIn app.
Hell yeah.
Broadcast home for your Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. We're in a league of our own. Now, here's your SportsTownChicago.com scoreboard update.
At 3:20 p.m., I'm Jonathan Young with your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to BeyondAir.com. Former MVP Derrick Rose announces his retirement today after a 16-year career. Rose, the number one overall pick in 2008, NBA drafted by the Chicago Bulls in the league's youngest MVP in 2011. Bears injury report. Darnell Wright lands on the report. Wright did not practice Wednesday due to back ailment. Matt Eberflus said they are hopeful Wright will be able to push through and play by Sunday. Keenan Allen returned to practice Wednesday for the first time since re-aggravating his heel injury against the Tennessee Titans. Montez Sweat, Darnell Taylor, and Braxton Jones, Nate Davis, Andrew Billings fill out the list of questionables. Chicago White Sox remain at 120 losses as Benintendi singled in the 10th inning for a 4-3 win over the Angels. Chicago remains tied with the 1962 New York Mets for the modern major league record in losses. The White Sox are currently winning 7-0 against the Angels. Andrew Vaughn went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 1 run as they are looking to not hold that record for most losses. Nick Castellanos homers as the Phillies beat the Cubs 9-6. The Cubs are off today and will be back on the diamond Friday against the Reds at 1:20.
You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes.
Now live. Your host, Jonathan Young. Windy City Sports Nation.
Dragons! Somebody grab Dragons there. Do you know who this kid is? He's from Chicago. He has a 40-inch vertical. And you are, where's my poster machine? This is what I need my poster machine. Where's it at? Oh my goodness.
Are you ready to dominate?
He hurdles Sauerbrunn, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! 75-yard punt return. Devin Hester, you are ridiculous.
With the first pick in the 2008 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Derrick Rose from the University of Memphis.
After a year away from home at Memphis, Derrick Rose is going back home to Chicago. He led his high school to 2 state championships when he was a prep star. His nickname, as we said before, is Pooh. Yeah, like Winnie the Pooh. His grandmother named him that after his obsession with sweets because, Winnie the Pooh likes honey. I believe this is about as sweet as it can be.
Crosses over, a fadeaway.
Let me step back and kiss myself. Oh my gosh, it's over. Windy City Assassin does it again. That's why he's the MVP. He is a killer. He will take that last shot. He is not afraid of taking the last shot. That's what superstar players do.
Right of your screen, they get it to Kobe right away. One track for the steal. It's Lewis, so they got the steal. Luol Deng with it. He came down, didn't travel. It's Rose, the MVP, with 11 seconds left. The Bulls with a chance to win here on Christmas Day. Rose left, throws in the lane. Rose, good! Derrick Rose and the Bulls come back to take a 1-point lead.
It is a sad day here in Chicago and for the rest of the NBA as Derrick Rose actually announced his retirement today. It's sad, but also it's a blessing. I mean, he had a great career. He had a long and great career that he should be very proud of. I'd like to credit the Chicago Bulls for that last clip. But Derrick Rose actually had a very solid career. It's disappointing, but like I said, it's also good to see that even though he is no longer going to be playing NBA basketball, he had a great run. Not even a good run. He had a great run. Youngest MVP. In his prime before injury, he could carry a team on his back by himself. So he had a great career. It's just sad that he's no longer here. Got a question for you guys. Where does Derrick sit as a Hall of Famer? Would you put him in the Hall as the youngest MVP with the career? He has career stats. His career stats in a whole: 17.4, 45% from the field, 5 assists, 4 boards. But also, like I said, he did take the Bulls to the conference finals, and they should have won. He should have a ring. And the only thing that derailed him was the injuries. Reach out to me at JJYoung, Windy City Sports Nation at gmail.com. Let me know if you guys think that Derrick Rose actually did or didn't have a Hall of Fame career. That's going to be a tough one, man. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For about 6 years, he competed at a high level. I don't think that's necessarily long enough to put him in the Hall, but 6 years is pretty serviceable for an NBA player at the top of his game. So that's a good question. I don't know if I'd put him myself in the Hall. I'd probably say no. You know, you got to at least average for a career, I'd say 24, 25 to get into the Hall. You know, unless you're having like 8 or 9 assists, unless you're more pass heavy than scoring, you know. But I wouldn't say he's in, but he's on the cusp. If they had won that championship, I'd put him in. You know, injuries derailed his career. So I would have to say no, unfortunately. When Derrick got drafted, I remember I was so happy the Bulls had the number 1 pick. And I wanted them to take Michael Beasley so badly. I was at home cheering, rooting for them to take Michael Beasley. But they drafted D Rose. And I didn't care where the kid was from. I didn't care if he was from Chicago. I didn't care if he was from Memphis. I didn't care where he was from. I just wanted him to come here with the mindset that I'm going to be a winner. And that's exactly what Derrick Rose did. And what changed my opinion of him was I watched a preseason game. And they said that he was the fastest player on the court. And when you think of point guards, explosive point guards, they have to be able to get downhill very fast and attack the rim. If you have a point guard with good vision and he's able to get downhill and attack the rim, he makes better plays for himself. Plus, he puts your team overall in a better situation. So that's the type of point guard you want, and that's what Derrick Rose was. So when I saw him get a rebound, he didn't get a pass, no. He grabbed a rebound off the rim. There was 5 players ahead of him. He ran past all 5 and sprinted for a layup. Now, if you can have that kind of acceleration, that kind of speed, eye-hand coordination to dribble the ball that fast in a full court setting, in a half court setting, that should be a lot easier, which it was, which it definitely was for Mr. Derrick Rose, because He won Rookie of the Year. So he started out really good. His first year, he averaged 17, 40, almost 48% shooting from the field, 4 boards and 6 assists. And that's his rookie year. Played in all 81 games. Like, the very next year, he played in 78 games. He averaged 21, so he raised his average up 4 points. Still 4 boards, 6 assists. But then the next year, he played in 81 games, averaged 25, had 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. So that 2010-2011 year when he won MVP, that's a pretty good year, man. That's a pretty good year. Shooting 45% from the field. Yeah, buddy. I'll take that all day long. So in that year, he played 81 games. The next year, he played 39 games. The end of the 2011 year. He played in 39 games, and then the next year he played 10 games. The next year after that, 51. The next year after that, 66, 64, 16, 9, 51, 50, 15, 35, and 26. So after those first 3 years, he never hit over 65 games again. Injuries really plagued him throughout his career, and there's no telling what he would have been had he not gotten hurt. Like I said, he carried the load for the Bulls during those first 4 years. He had Drew Gooden with him when he was spray painting his head, and not much other besides Drew Gooden, that was running with him. So for him to lead that team, he had Joakim, but he was the focal point of that 2011 team, and he put the Bulls on his back that year. They went against the Cavs, and he wanted to prove that he was better than LeBron. He rose up for that challenge, and had he not gotten hurt in that series, I believe he would have won that series. Just a great effort all around by that Chicago Bulls team, but specifically D Rose, man. Like, oh man, every Chicago Bulls fan that remembers that time always asks, like, what could have been had he not gotten hurt? Like, and then the fans did him so wrong when he was hurt. And in Chicago, we felt like, hey, man, everybody gets hurt every once in a while. You got to play through it. There's no days off. That's how Chicago fans are. That's how I live my life. I don't miss work. I don't miss work. I don't miss school. If you're supposed to be somewhere, that's where you're supposed to be. So that's how we are. And Mr. Derek unfortunately had a time where he was not able to fulfill his opportunity or fulfill his duties on the court. And he caught a lot of backlash from the Chicago fans for that. They felt like, hey, man, you should be back by now. And we rushed him back, told him, come back. And then he did come back the next year, like halfway through the season, but he got hurt again, and I remember him saying that he wanted to walk and spend time with his kids, and that's what his focal point was. And I just wish that here in Chicago, fans would have gave him the benefit of the doubt and maybe not pushed the front office so much to say, hey, he's not playing. Why is he here? Because if the fans hadn't pushed so hard, I don't think that he would have got traded. And I believe that the only reason he did get traded was because the outroar from the fans. That is a grown man who wanted to spend time and make sure that he could see his kids grow up and have that father time with him, those memories with him. It's only fair. He wants to run around and play with his kids. He doesn't want to be in a wheelchair. You know, he wants to walk Disney World. He doesn't want to have to roll through Disney World, you know, and as fans, we have to respect that because he's a human being too. We didn't back then. At least a lot of my friends and, you know, coworkers and stuff that I talked to about it, they definitely did not respect that decision. As a fan, we get carried away wanting our wants and not thinking about the individual person. And unfortunately for him, that's where I think it fell in for him, you know, is, hey, you're not playing. We don't want you here. You're making too much money. Not, oh, you're hurt. Let's wait until you get healthy. Because after he left the Bulls, he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years with the Bulls. And then he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more seasons. He should have been in a Chicago Bulls uniform his whole career. I mean, in my opinion, he's the third best Chicago Bull. And you let him go. You let him go. You traded him. The third best Chicago Bull. Why? Because he didn't want to risk his future happiness. He wanted to try to make sure he was healthy before he got back on the court. You know, and I mean, he's had good games since. He put up 40 last year in one game. You know, is that something he's going to do every night? No, not at all. Not at all. He averaged 12 points last year. 12 points. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 8 points. 8 points last year. And 16 minutes. So say you give him 25, maybe that gets up to 14, 13 points in his last season. That's still serviceable. That's a backup point guard right there. There's no reason he shouldn't have finished his career in Chicago. So that's disappointing. I would like to see him retired as a Chicago Bull, but the problem is that the Bulls don't have any roster spots. So in order to retire him, they would have to release someone to sign him. And with a young team that you're trying to evaluate, that's not going to be easy. You could say just take the last person on the bench and kick them off. But that last person on the bench is adding fuel for that person ahead of him to compete. He's pushing the guy ahead of him. This is the first time in a long time that the Bulls have had a full roster like this where somebody can push. The last person can actually push the person ahead of them. Usually the last 2-3 years, the Bulls bench, the end of their bench, it's been just bums like that never would enter the game. But now you actually have people that are trying to compete and earn a job. So it's a little bit more difficult right now to find a spot for Mr. Derek to retire as a Bull, but I definitely do think he will get his time. I definitely do think he will retire as a Chicago Bull. There's only 2 players on that Bulls list that rank higher than Mr. Derrick Rose, and that is Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Dennis Rodman got 3, Horace Grant got 3, B.J. Armstrong got 3, Steve Kerr got 3, but those are players that were role players. They weren't focal points of the team. None of them. Scotty and Mike were that team. No matter how you look at it, everybody else that was on those 6 championships were role players. Some of them had bigger roles than others, but none of them were complete players. None of them. They were role players. So Derrick Rose he was not a role player for Chicago. So definitely have to put him up there right after Mike and Pippen. He has earned that. He wasn't treated fairly, in the NBA. He really wasn't treated fair. And it's a sad day, like I said, but also a good day to see Derrick Rose get his flowers. He's going to be retiring, and he had a great career. So happy to you. But there's another team not being treated fairly in the NBA. And we'll discuss that and more right after this break.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Joe's Hot Dogs has been around since 1953, but I promise it's not old news. You don't have to like hot dogs to like Joe's on Plainfield Road in Joliet. Italian beef, hot dogs, shakes, and sides. My family's had a relationship with Joe's Hot Dogs for 3 generations. Golden fries with a tad bit of salt and the perfect amount of crunch come in a bag as big as your hand. And that's just small. For more on the menu, visit joeshotdogsjoliet.com, bringing that classic Chicago flavor to the suburbs. That's Joe's Hot Dogs across from CVS on Plainfield Road in Joliet.
At the football game, Jim shows the telltale signs of being wasted. He starts flexing for the camera. He refers to his muscles as gunboats. He screams, "How's this for a halftime show?" Jim streaks the field.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many to drive. But what if you've had just one too many to drive? Never underestimate just a few. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and Windy City News Radio.
The Illinois Center for Broadcasting is now the Illinois Media School. We've been an institution in the Chicagoland area now for 30 years. Because the broadcasting world is always changing, so are we. Not only are we teaching radio and television production, but now you can learn all aspects of the media industry, like web design. You can even specialize in TV or film, sports broadcasting, and even sales. No matter where you are in the Chicagoland area, we have a campus near you. The Illinois Media School. Be on TV, be on radio, beonair.com.
Maybe that was money. Tell me that wasn't money.
Yo, check us out. We are the go-to guys. I'm your boy Space.
I'm your boy MC.
Check us out every Thursday
from 4 to 5 p.m.
We spitting all facts, all sports, all day.
Yes, sir. Who else you going to go to in the clutch?
Lillard, long-range three, and it's good!
Keeping you up to date with all the latest sports news.
We are
the go-to guys.
Where else you going to get all your sports news from? SportsTownChicago.com.
St. Patrick's Day, the only day of the year that it's okay to not boo the Boston Celtics.
I will show you mercy.
SportsTownChicago.com.
That's right, y'all. We're doing everything big today. That was Chicago Bulls intro again. Thank you to Chicago Bulls for that intro. But another team in the NBA that is not getting any respect at all is the Chicago Bulls. Mr. Mateus Buzelis has turned eyes at training camp. And it's just camp. It's not the end of the world. It's not even the beginning of the world. It's just camp. But that young man is 19 years old from Chicago, and he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove that he is the guy. And at so young, for him to be able to compete with grown men like he did in the summer league, like he's doing in camp right now, it's refreshing. It's great to see, because that's the one thing that you probably worry about the most with a young player, is how they're going to perform against the next level of talent. And to hear that Mateus Buzelis is not only holding his own, but setting the tone for some of these practices is great, encouraging news. It's great, encouraging news, especially because there was a report saying that Patrick Williams had a setback. He didn't get hurt recently, but he had a setback about 2 months ago, and we're just now hearing about it, but he had a setback. So they're saying that he will not be ready for the start of the season. So to have a 6'10" rookie that you're pretty much going to be depending on, because you don't have any other big men, to see that he is thriving with the other NBA players that are already there, the other NBA talent that's already on your roster, he's competing with them. That's a good stuff. That's a good sign. I'd really like to see him when the season starts, and because Patrick Williams is going to be hurt, we're going to be seeing a lot of Mr. Buzelis. So that's a good thing to have that depth, that young guy to come in, because you're going to need it. You're as the Chicago Bulls, you will need him to eat up a lot of minutes. I like Jalen Smith at the 4, but he's your only real backup at center, so no go. But he's so limited offensively. It's like, if you have Sanogo and Jalen Smith on the court at the same time, it's going to be a very bad stretch on the court together for those two. That offensively, that would not be ideal. So it's gonna come down to Mr. Buzelis and what he can bring and how fast he can grow into the man that the Chicago Bulls need him to be. But Lonzo looks like he's going to be ready for the start of the season. He can't play the 4, but it's another body for them that they definitely can use. Lonzo can push the court. And I'm telling you, if this team is not the most exciting run up and down the court team, they got to have the fastest pace in the NBA to be successful. They have to. But they have a young team that can do that. They have athletes that can do that. Even if Zach comes back and he wants to play for you guys, let him come back and run up and down the court. Get you some lobs, get you some dunks, because there's going to be people running with him that have court vision. The Bulls are going to have at least 2 players on the court at all times that can play point, that have point guard vision at all times, because they have so many guards. They are so guard heavy. They're going to be playing guards on the wings. They're going to be playing them at the 3 because they have so many of them. I guarantee you Josh Giddey is going to get some time at the 3. So is Lonzo. And those are bona fide point guards, both of them. Kobe got time at the 3 last year. And he's 6'2", so, You know, it's gonna be interesting with Patrick Williams being hurt and missing the beginning of the season. That does definitely hurt. How many wins do you guys think the Bulls are gonna win? You know, what's gonna be their record? Reach out to me at JJ Young, Windy City Sports Nation at gmail.com. Let me know how many wins. I was talking with my teacher today at school, and he says that because the Bears won 38 or 39 games last year, if the Bulls win 2 more games, that is not a successful year. And I told him that's not true. And the reason I told him that's not true is because we're not the same team that we had last year. Last year's team had more expectations to make the playoffs. So last year's team underachieved. They should have hit 45 to 48 wins last year. They didn't even hit 40. So they underachieved. Okay, this is a totally different team. No DeMar, no Alex Caruso. You add in all this young talent, Giddey, Smith, Buzelis, young guys that are coming back for, you know, their second, third year. Terry, Ayo, you know, these young guys can run up and down the court. So it should be an exciting, fast-paced year for the Bulls. You know, the Bulls last time they were running up and down the court, it was when they made that trade for Lonzo, and they had the best record for the first half of the season until he got hurt. So if they can get back to anything like that, I'd be all aboard. If they win 42 games, to me, that's a win. That's a successful season because you got younger and you developed some of that talent. You had to have to get to 42. There's no way you're going to get to 42 games won if you're not developing talent. So it'll be nice if they hit 42. I don't care if they hit 40. That's still more than what they did last year. And each year you want your team to grow. So if you're a Bulls fan and you want to see them grow, then there has to be steps. You don't just go from being bad to being great. That's not typically how it goes. You have to have steps. So you go from being bad to being better to being good to being great. They're bad, okay? So if they get better this year, then that's a step. You got younger. You have a better record. That's a successful year, in my opinion. Even if it's just one game. Even if it's just one game difference that they improved. Because not only did you improve that one game, your expectations for that team shouldn't have been to do what the team last year did, because the team last year had DeMar DeRozan as their cornerstone. You don't have DeMar DeRozan no more. The team last year had Alex Caruso as their shutdown defensive player. That's 2 big pieces that you've lost in the offseason. So if they are able to duplicate their wins that they had last year, then the players that they brought in duplicated what they lost. If they did better, if they got one game better than last year, that means that the guys they brought in were better than what they had last year. So even if it's one game, that is success, and that's how you judge it. You go by how many wins you got. When you get to a certain point, it is true. A successful season is only a championship. That is the goal in every sport. Championship. You don't do that, you're a loser. It's only one championship. But you have to get to that point where you can compete for that championship. You're not going to just all of a sudden wake up and be able to compete. You have to build yourself up there, So that's what we're really, really looking for is growth from this team. Not necessarily 45, 50 wins. No, I'm not thinking they're going to do that. But they can hit 40. They can hit 42. That's growth. That's growth. But it's not really fair to tie winning with success. It's always another story and another way to go with winning. So just because you get a dub doesn't mean you win, and just because you got an L doesn't mean you lost. That doesn't make sense, huh? It does. It really does. And I'll explain that and more right after this sports break.
Back to your home for sports. SportsTownChicago.com. Scoreboard update.
At 3:55, I'm Jonathan Young with your SportsTownChicago.com update, powered by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com. Former MVP Derrick Rose announced his retirement today after a 16-year career. Rose, the number 1 overall pick in 2008 NBA draft by the Chicago Bulls and the league's youngest MVP in 2011. Keenan Allen returns to practice Wednesday for the first time since re-aggravating his heel injury in Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans. Montez Sweat, Darnell Taylor, and Braxton Jones, Nate Davis, Andrew Billings all fill out the list for questionables for that game. Chicago White Sox remain at 120 losses as Benintendi singled in the 10th for the 4-3 win over the Angels. Chicago remains tied with the 1962 New York Mets for the modern major league record for losses in a season. The Sox are winning right now as we speak, 7-0 against the Angels. Andrew Vaughn went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 1 run, looking not to break that record in losses. They are at it right now in the 9th. We'll let you know what happens as soon as that game is ended. This has been your SportsTownChicago.com update brought to you by Illinois Media School. If interested in a career in media, go to beonair.com.
This is your home for sports. Red left. SportsTownChicago.com.
Take that exit and get to the Southern Cafe, home of the Nasty Biscuit on Roselle Road in Roselle. Get over there and try the chicken fried chicken biscuit made with the Southern Cafe's house-made drop biscuit with buttermilk chicken fried chicken smothered in country gravy, topped with shredded cheddar and crumbled hickory smoked bacon. I always say that when you go to the Southern Cafe, you come out with 2 meals with the heaping amounts of food they serve you in every meal. I love to go to a place with outdoor seating. The Southern Cafe has a great outdoor seating area to help social distance, and I get to enjoy my breakfast outdoors. Open 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. to give you plenty of time to grab an amazing breakfast or lunch. Now get your butt over to the Southern Cafe on Roselle Road.
Hello?
It's speed walking day.
Dorothy? You're breaking up.
Did I mention we'd be slowing down when we pass the court where those fine brothers play ball?
I heard that.
Reduce your risk of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Get active, eat right, and maybe even run into Mr. Right. Isn't sisterhood beautiful? For more information, go to everydaychoices.org. Brought to you by the American Cancer Society, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, the Ad Council, and this station.
Alert! Alert! Be gone, maxed out credit cards, overdue loans, suffocating interest rates, and relentless collection agencies. If your credit rating is making you and others around you cringe, there's only one thing to do, and that's to turn to the professionals at Creative Credit Solutions. Even if your credit is less than perfect, we'll help you get back on track. You can do it, and we can help. Call today or visit creativecreditsolutions.net for your free credit check report.
Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com. Mondays and Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. as we talk NFL.
The game plan was really sound.
The quarterback league. It has been. It still is.
Franchise-defining quarterbacks.
College football.
Will Jim Harbaugh make it through the season as Michigan's head coach?
Some more Big Ten talk.
And here's some things you wouldn't expect.
I would have never expected that.
Get all of that and more on Blow the Whistle on SportsTownChicago.com.
Pull up with tens. One-on-one never again. One get the cake in the butter. I count it like hustle the money all in. Rhyming the town in the drop top coupe in the motor in the trunk you can hitch. It's all about how they want me to loop up. Before I win.
All right, everybody. Like to credit the Chicago Bears for that last little clip. After a tough loss, we're gonna keep things positive. You have to, because even though they did get the L, there was a build of success from that game. Like I said, W's don't mean everything. They don't mean everything. Perfect example. Mr. Justin Fields in Pittsburgh right now is 3-0. 3-0. Getting dubs every week. The problem with Justin Fields when he was in Chicago was we did not see enough growth. We saw talent. The talent is oozing out the kid. He's very talented. The problem is that you have to see growth each week, and you didn't see that with Justin. You didn't. You did not see that from Justin. And even though last week the Chicago Bears lost, there was growth on the offense. That defense, man. Oh my goodness, man. That defense is looking so good. And I really don't know if I would want things to be any other way. You know, if I had to go back and redraft the last 2-3 years and reach for offensive linemen instead of taking the best players available, you would not have the secondary that the Bears have. I saw a not too early mock draft come out. And in this mock draft, they had Beck going first. They had Quinn Ewers going second. They had another quarterback going third. And then they had the Bears. The Bears. And the Bears took a defensive tackle from Michigan. And then like 2 picks later, they had Darnell Hunter go. And I'm going to tell you, Hunter is the truth. That dude is a dog. If he goes past 5, I'd be extremely shocked. He could go number 1. He could play offense. He could play defense. Like, that dude is a dog. Like, he is the truth. Hunter is the truth. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I take you don't want to reach, because when you reach, it's you're settling. You're settling. And when you're rebuilding or building, you don't want to settle. You want the best at every position available You have to have that if you're rebuilding. You can't settle for anybody. It has to be the best. Braxton Jones is a settle. Braxton Jones is a settle. He's a good tackle. But he should be a swing tackle. Should not be a starting tackle. He has no anchor. How are you a tackle with no anchor? So the only thing you can block as a tackle is the speed rush. That's a problem, because you're gonna have defensive end that are not just speed rushers, they're strong and fast. So they're gonna play with your mind, they're gonna have you thinking that it's gonna be a speed rush, and they're gonna blow right past you, push you right over. I mean, sometimes it looks like Braxton Jones is wearing slippers out there. He's just being pushed around. Like, where are your cleats? Anchor down. But he can't. He doesn't have those physical skills. So we settle with what he does do well, instead of drafting someone with better potential. You have to work around that. Every team has similar issues. That's where coaching comes in. Are the Bears coaches on the hot seat already? Offensive coach and their offensive line coach and Eberflus. Are the coaches? That's a great question. Reach out to me, JJ Young, Windy City Sports Nation at gmail.com. Let me know if you firing any of these coaches after week 3. Because there was some bad stuff in that game. Like when you got a few seconds to get a play in there after you score a touchdown, and you got one coach saying 1 point and the head coach going 2 points. That's not good. That's not good. There should be one voice. I don't even know why the special teams head dude was so gun set on being like, we going for 1. You're not the head coach. How you gonna make that decision? You can't make that. If I was Eberflus, boy, I would have chopped that man's finger off. He would have never been able to put 1 again up. He would have never been able to hold the 1 up again. He would have had 1 missing off his finger. Because you don't have the authority to say we going for 1. That's my job. That's my job. If he get fired, if he get fired, is the head coach or is the special teams coach the one that sat there saying we going for 1? Is he gonna get fired with him? No, he gonna keep his job, or at least he gonna hope he gonna keep his job. So let Eberflus make those decisions. You know, we don't need 5 head coaches. We only need 1. The one we got, he might lose his job. Shoot. Reaching is never a good thing in drafts. And this is why I wouldn't have taken Taylor as our punter. Do we need a punter? Sure. I'm not saying punters aren't important. Punters are important. But, man, in the 4th round, like you could have got a good quality interior lineman in the 4th round. Would he have been a stud? No. Has Taylor been punting like a stud? No. If you're at midfield and you can't get it out in the 10, within the 10-yard line of your opposing team, that's a terrible punt. And there's been too many times where I've seen Taylor do that. He's supposed to be the kick god. His backspins and the way he punts is so different. Man, I don't even want to talk about our punter anymore. I will talk about Kieran Amegadjie, because we need offensive line help. And that was somebody we drafted that could come in he could come in and help. He could come in and help, especially with all those injuries we have. I really hope Darnell Wright is able to play, but they days off. Keep Pryor in there. I saw this 22 film on Pryor's blocking, and he had one grade that was a no grade, and he had one bad grade. The rest of the game, the guy that was doing the show, he gave him all positive grades for the rest of the show. He was showing some of the stunts that he was passing off. I mean, he was out there bullying people, man. He had one play where he had 2 pancakes because they did a stunt, and the guy that stunted, he pushed him so hard, one-handed, he pushed him down to the ground. And then the other guy came through his hole like he was going to do something, and he got put down just as well. That man has a snatch grab where he'll snatch and grab you to the floor, and he'll just lay on you. Like, I saw him do it twice. One time it was done perfectly. The second time he got him to his knees. He didn't fully get him down. But, I mean, Nate Davis Nate Davis is not him. He's not him. That was a bad signing by Poles. That was a bad signing by Poles. We need someone healthy this year. We got to make sure someone's healthy this year, and that one person being healthy matters more than anything else. And if he's not healthy, it's going to be a very long season. We'll discuss who we're talking about and more right after this break.
Longtime fans, sports is like life. SportsTownChicago.com.
What's up, Chicago? If you're ever, and I mean ever, out looking for good urban food 24/7, come down to White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. White Palace Grill is open 365 days a year since 1939. I personally love the steak and egg dinner, but whether you like burgers for breakfast, steak for lunch, or French toast for dinner, White Palace is the place for you. The diner is a 24-hour urban oasis. Come now, come later. Hey, come now and later. We never close at White Palace Grill, located 1159 South Canal Street in Chicago. Visit us at whitepalace.com or order with Uber Eats or Grubhub anytime, any day.
Daddy, when you look at me, I could see your wheels turning. About what am I going to be when I grow up? A major league first baseman? Maybe a point guard for a national champion.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. Far-fetched? Maybe. But did you know the odds of a child being diagnosed with autism are 1 in 166? That's right, 1 in 166. To learn the signs of autism, go to autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Go to Lux Barbershop for the best barbers and stylists in Plainfield, Illinois. I go there when I have an important event, date, or I just want to look good. The straight razor shave will have you looking fresh and smooth. Lux Barbershop is open 7 days a week. Go to Lux Barbershop for the finest barbers, stylists, braiders, and massage therapists in the southern suburbs. Check out all their daily deals on Facebook, Instagram, and luxbarbershop.com.
Hi, this is Joe Perry and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith for Red. You know, it's okay to rock and roll and party down. Just don't get in that 2,000-pound bullet when you're done and cocked. And please don't drink and drive.
The one that jaded you.
A reminder that friends don't let friends drive drunk. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council, U.S. Department of Transportation, National Association of Broadcasters, and RAD.
The Chicago Dogs are back on SportsTownChicago.com. Tune in to the season opener against the Sioux City Explorers, Friday, May 28th at Impact Field in Rosemont. First pitch at 7:05 p.m. Hear all the action right here on SportsTownChicago.com.
But now getting a major opportunity with Tennessee. Williams trying to find an alley. Still on the move, is going to have to take off, and he'll run for the first down.
All righty, everyone. You gotta love last Sunday night's game, because you got to see the Bears actually throw the ball. Everybody was saying, are the Bears going to be a pass team? They want them to be a pass team. Well, we got what we wanted, as Justin Field threw the ball for a total of 52 times. I think that might be more than any time that Justin Field has ever thrown in Chicago, in the Chicago Bears uniform. He was 33 for 52. 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 picks. One of them was a very bad pick. The other one really wasn't his fault. But you gotta just take care of the ball better. You can't have, picks, turnovers, fumbles. You can't have that and be good in the NFL. But we definitely saw growth. And this year, that's all you're looking for. Anybody that thought the Bears were going to go to the playoffs or win 11, 12 games this year, no, it's not going to happen. I had them down for 10, but it looks like they might win 8 or 9 the way they're playing right now. But W's this year really don't matter. That's not how we judge. That's not a good way to judge the Chicago Bears roster or a team. You can't judge them by wins because you're not in a state to where you should be judged by wins. You're in a state where you have a rookie quarterback who's going to make rookie decisions and rookie mistakes. So knowing that, if you think that with a rookie you're going to the playoffs, it's far-fetched. It just doesn't normally happen that way. Can it happen? Sure, it can happen. Can. Is it likely to happen? No. It's just history, man. Like, it's not common for a rookie quarterback to lead their team to the playoffs. It's not common. There's a jump going from college to the NFL. So I've been watching Caleb, and I'm content with the growth I've seen. I've seen him hot routing out of things into other, into other plays. You've seen him actually look through his progressions. It's just a few mistakes that he's going to make, and as a fan, you have to accept that. When Poles said we're going to go with Caleb, the only thing as a fan that we can do is accept that and root for him in the future. You can root for him now. I mean, of course, we want to see him do good, but no, you cannot expect the W. Anybody that said they were going to get 11, 12 wins, you're expecting a W, and that's wrong. That's how you break your players. That's how you break your quarterback, is you put too much pressure on him to where he feels he has to win every game. He doesn't. I want to see growth. I want to see you continue to get better each game. And that's not judged by how many yards he throws. That's not just, I'll tell you this. Confidence being shown by your offensive coordinator tells you a lot. Because when Justin was in Chicago, the Bears would not throw the ball 50 times. They didn't have confidence in the offensive line or in Justin to do that. But in week 3, Caleb Williams has thrown for 52 times for 363 yards. He almost had 400. Almost had 400 in his 3rd game. That's improvement. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see the 2 interceptions. You don't want to see the 2 picks. But 306, and he left some yards on the field. He left a few good throws on the field. He should have easily threw for that 400. So even though he did grow, there's still even more room for growth. That's what you want. My teacher tried to argue today that Daniels was the best quarterback and out of that draft. And I said, no, he's not. And he said, oh, right now. And I said, well, right now, maybe. But I don't see Daniels getting nominated for an MVP. I do not see him ever getting nominated for an MVP. I can see Caleb getting nominated for an MVP before his career is over. I think that Caleb's ceiling is a lot higher than Daniels. And I think Caleb's floor is a lot lower as well. We got a glimpse. This has been 3 weeks, people. 3 weeks. It ain't even half the season yet. It's not even half the season yet. There's still a lot of football to go around. So for people sitting there saying that, Daniels is better than Caleb, you're jumping, you're definitely jumping the gun. Let's get to at least week 8. Week 9, get halfway through the season before you start making these decisions on the young, influenceable quarterbacks. Because that's who they are and that's what they are. That's who they are and that's what they are. So you got to always just keep that in mind. All right? Just keep that in mind. The Bears are not built for the right now. They are built for the future. That's why they the route that they're going is for the future. It's not for right now. So I don't want to see no trades for no raw defensive ends. I don't want to see no trades for no raw centers, because if you trade right now, you're going to be there. It's going to be a hefty price tag. Everybody knows you need defensive and offensive line help. So they're going to tax you. They're going to tax you a lot. So you can't go that route. You can't. You're going to have to do it through the draft and free agency. Free agency preferably. Because through the draft, you want to draft the best players available. That's what free agency is for. Free agency is made to fill in your roster where you feel you need help. It's not supposed to be, I need an offensive lineman, so I'm going to draft the best offensive lineman in the draft. No, because the best offensive lineman in the draft could be second-round talent, and you're passing up on how many players that are first-round talent because you need a position. That's not what the NBA draft, or that's not what any draft is for. Any draft. It's to take the best player available, and then you use your free agents to fill in your gaps. So hopefully, the Bears will get this right in free agency with their offensive line. I feel like we're just a few pieces away. We're not offensively. They're not undermanned. They're underskilled. So just replacing one or two of those players that don't have that skill level could really turn around that offensive line. Amagaji. Just adding him instead of Nate Davis, and putting Pryor out at left tackle and making Braxton now your swing. Just that could be the spark you need. I'm not saying that Pryor is better than Braxton Jones. That's not what I'm saying. But you this lineup that you have on the offensive line is not working. So you got to do something different. If something's not working, you got to try to find why and fix it. You have to. And if they do not get that offensive line situated, Caleb Williams is going to get hurt. He is going to get hurt. He going to get hurt, man. And that's the worst fear for any Chicago fan, is to see him hurt. They didn't play in the Hall of Fame game because the field was so messed up that they didn't want him to get hurt. But you're going to put him behind the offensive line that they have for 17 games and not want him to get hurt. That to me is a double standard. If you want to protect your guy and make sure he don't get hurt, then do it for the whole year, not just for the first game of the year. You want to protect him. Protect him throughout the whole year with a good offensive line. I like DeAndre Swift. He's a talented player, but they could have used that money elsewhere on that offensive line in free agency. Nobody expected to wake up the first day of free agency and see the Chicago Bears drafted or signed DeAndre Swift. Nobody expected that. Everybody expected the first player they're going to sign is an offensive lineman. Everybody just knew it. And they didn't sign anybody. They didn't sign anybody, man. Oh, my goodness. They didn't sign anybody. That's terrible. But we're going to trust this process. Poles has a plan. He has a plan, and he has no reason. He's given us no reason to think that he will not continue with his plan. So give the Bears a pass this last week. I mean, they've competed in every game. All right. They should have won, but they didn't. Move on. Go to next week. Caleb improved. Okay, let's go. I want to see him improve next week even more. So when we come back next week, we can talk about how good that offense looked against the Rams. Oh, man. Oh, that's going to be a big game. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have y'all a great weekend. I'll see you next week talking more Bulls, Bears, Sox, Cubs. It's all about Chicago City. Have a good night.
This is your home for sports.
This is the best fans in the world.
No better team.
SportsTownChicago.com.
Are you ready for this? Valley View Automotive has all of the hottest SUVs you've been looking for. Enjoy a test drive and the opportunity to drive one of these powerful vehicles off the lot for half the price. Yes, half the price. Now's the time to get yourself to Valley View by car, on foot, or even by air to take advantage of this outrageous sale. You better get here quickly because this promotion is only going on for 24 hours and the automobiles are leaving the lot faster than you can say four-wheel drive. Valley View Automotive, a dealership you can depend on.
Hey, I'm Andy Griggs, asking you to help prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence isn't a woman's issue. It hurts all of us. Women are injured and killed every day by their husbands and boyfriends. So it's time for men to take action right now to teach boys that violence against women is wrong, to help prevent abuse before it starts. Call the Family Violence Prevention Fund at 1-800-END-ABUSE to get a free Take Action kit containing tips on what to say to boys. That's 1-800-END-ABUSE. Teach early.
Indeed is the #1 job search user with over 250 million monthly users. Indeed's priority is to help everyone in the job searching process to find a job by uploading 10 new job opportunities every 10 seconds worldwide. With Indeed, you have free access to job searches, resume uploads, and company researches. There are over 10,000 employees at Indeed that pursue to help people find the job they are looking for. They connect with millions of people to new opportunities. Go to Indeed.com and sign up for free and create a resume and let Indeed do the rest to help you on your job search.
Hey, I'm Jesus Mauricio.
Be sure to tune in every Friday to listen to Zeus Off the Bat, a baseball talk show from 1 to 2 p.m., where I'll be discussing and updating you on all things about baseball, news, predictions, reactions, and more about the Cubs,